Hi kids, good morning. Today we are going to start a new week, and this time we are going to start with sentences, and we need to remember that sentences are a complete thought, language arts. We will be working on pages 20 and 21. Okay, are you ready? Ready? Let's continue. Let's go to the next one. Let's take a look at these examples. I have prepared this chart to show you about what we need for making a sentence. Look at this. It says pronoun or name. What are pronouns? Pronouns are the ones that replace a person. I, you, he, she, it, and we. And we need, of course, a verb. We need a pronoun or name. We need a verb. And finally, we need a complement. These three components are very important to make a sentence and have a very complete thought. Let's read the following verbs. It says drink, understand, squats, place, rains, and scream. Now look at the complement. The complement says water, English, at school, volleyball, in the morning, and too loud. So if we read this, we can see that we have a complete thought or sentence. I drink water. Now let's continue with the second sentence. It says, you understand English. He squats at school. She plays volleyball. It rains in the morning and we scream too loud. Do you see? These are complete sentences and complete ideas. If we take a look at these verbs, we have the meaning of the word rain and we have the meaning of the word too loud. Now let's continue. Let's go to the next example. Look at these ideas. Do you see? We have here a fish and we have a girl whose name is Jane. So, as you can see, these are only ideas. If I say fish, you can imagine a fish. This is only an idea. But this is not a sentence. Do you see? Because it's only fish. It doesn't have a verb, no verb here. And Jane is also an idea. Now, let's continue. It says, these are only two ideas. One idea is fish, and the other idea is Jane. And then the teacher says, how can I make a complete thought? ¿Cómo puedo hacer una idea o pensamiento completo? How can I make a complete thought with fish and with Jane? That's the question. Do you see? These are only two ideas. Now let's continue. And then the teacher says, and the teacher asks, what do I need to make a sentence? ¿Qué necesito? What do I need to make a sentence? To make a sentence, I need a pronoun. A pronoun, okay, is the word that replaces the person. Un pronombre reemplaza a la persona. For example, I means yo. You means tú. He means él. And she means ella. It means esto. This is for objects and animals. The weather too. It usamos para objetos, esto, y reemplaza a los animales. Replaces the animals and replaces the weather. Reemplaza el clima, por ejemplo. It is raining. Está lloviendo. In this case, we have we, nosotros, and they, ellos. Okay? So this is the first component for making a sentence. Este es el primer componente para hacer una oración. I need a pronoun. I, you, he, she, it, we, or they. Now let's continue. The teacher says, I can also use names instead of pronouns. What does instead of mean? If you can see, instead of means en vez de. I can also, yo también puedo usar nombres instead of pronouns. For example, Jane is a woman, so that means she. James is a man or a boy, so I can use he. James and I, we. Jaime y yo. James and I, we. Nosotros. James and Jane, they. Do you see? I can also use these names. Now let's continue. The pronoun or the name. As you can see, this is a pronoun she because it refers to ella, she. And then we can also use, también podemos usar Jane. Do you see? This is a name, Jane. Okay? So we can use she or Jane. Now let's continue. Second thing I need for making a complete thought. I need a verb, the action. Segundo componente. Necesito un verbo para hacer una oración o un pensamiento. Okay? It says, I need a verb, the action. In this case, the action is help. Okay? In this case, the pink panther needs help. So somebody's going to help. That's the second component. Segundo componente. Now, let's continue. And let's go to the third component. Tercer componente. I need a complement. Necesito un complemento. This is the third component. For example, the dog in the garden. So these are the components, the third components of a sentence. Este es el complemento. This is the complement of a sentence. Now let's continue. The sentence with a complete thought. La oración con un pensamiento completo. Do you see? Jane is the subject or the pronoun or the name, in fact. The name Jane, component number 1. Helps is the verb. help es el segundo componente. Helps is the second component, the verb. The dog in the garden, that is the complement. Do you see? And of course we have to remember that we need a capital letter and it finishes with a period because that expresses a complete thought. Now, I can understand this because Jane, do you see this is Jane? She's Jane, and she helps the dog in the garden. Now let's continue. Look at these ideas. For example, I have an idea, the fish. But the boy says, what? What about the fish? It's only an idea, it's not a sentence, because it doesn't have a pronoun and it doesn't have a verb. It doesn't. So he says, what? I don't understand, it's only an idea. But then he thinks and he says, luego piensa, oh, I have an idea. And let's see. Now, do you see? Over here we have a complete idea. Then he says, this fish is orange. This is a complete sentence. The idea is completed because it has the complement, it has the verb, and it has the first part, which is the subject, the fish in this case. Do you see? This is the fish, the verb, and the complement. And then the question is this a complete idea? Yes, this is a complete idea. Now, let's work on our Language 2 book on pages 20 and 21. Have a very nice day and good luck. Bye.